So we're driving around, hot Virginia day, just talking about what has been going on in the news lately. I'm sure all you guys are aware of the different shootings that have happened, the active shooter incidences that have happened at the Garlic Festival, the El Paso shooting that just happened, and the Dayton, Ohio shooting that just happened before that. All this in the wake of the one that happened in our hometown, Virginia Beach. It's a big problem, and everybody is talking about it right now. There's a lot of inevitable talk about gun control that's going to happen. We didn't talk about that in our last video addressing our hometown shooting, but we are going to address a serious issue today. So first of all, it goes without saying, guys, girls, attack helicopters, if you carry a gun, if you have a gun and you train with it, you should be carrying it, because you are the first responder. You are the person that is statistically going to be the first thing that is going to stop that active shooter. It's not going to be law enforcement. It's not going to be them just stopping shooting and hopefully offing themselves. It's going to be someone like you, someone like me. So you need to be training and you need to carry your gun. I know it's easy to get lazy and to just not carry it at all. That's a liability to anybody that you could be saving. And statistically, it happens more than you think. And we're going to go into that. So something I keep seeing put up on social media, even amongst my own friends, is the good guy with the gun put in quotations, because they don't think it's true. They think it's some slogan that was just made up by somebody in the NRA or somebody on the right to promote the sales of guns. It statistically is true. Good guys with guns typically are the ones to stop active shooters, and there are many cases ranging all the way back from 1997. We're going to actually provide the links down below so you can see them for yourselves. Over 24 cases in which a good guy with a gun stopped an active shooter, whether that was an off-duty law enforcement person or just a person, a responsible citizen carrying a firearm. There have been many documented cases where people have stopped somebody with a firearm, with their firearm. One of the most high-profile cases of this happening actually happened recently. A man named Stephen Wilford, you may have heard of him in the news, saw a man leaving a church. Then that guy had just killed like 26 people in that church, and he loaded up his AR-15 and he engaged the suspect right then and there. Ended up going on a car chase and stopped him because the guy was already mortally wounded. They had a small exchange of gunfire after that, but he was no longer able to continue his assault, and he was actually planning on killing more people when they found more intel on him after the fact. And he crashed his car. He ended up having a standoff with that man and law enforcement, and then ended up taking his own life. So also down below we have some FBI documents that show from 2014 to 2015 there were 11 cases in which a law enforcement professional stopped an active shooter. That's 11 cases of a cop shooting or stopping the shooter. There were 8 cases of a private citizen doing the same thing in the same year. That's 8 cases of not a cop, but a private citizen with a firearm stopping the active shooter. So if that's not enough for you to believe me, the CDC conducted a study in the 90s. They did a survey and they found that over 2.5 million cases in the United States within the years they did that survey, there were 2.5 million instances where a firearm prevented a crime, and that's rape, robbery, murder, you name it. So that may be a dated study. You may think, oh, well, that's just one source, the CDC, that's a pretty big one. But a man named Gary Kleck, a Florida State University criminologist, also did a survey in the same time frame, and his results matched the CDC's. So I ask you to weigh the net good of gun ownership using those statistics and whatever they may have translated to in 2019 to what we are seeing. I am not saying that active shooters are not a problem. I am not saying that these incidences are not a pattern that needs to be studied and needs to be cured. What I am saying is that most of the people that I see promoting the good guy with the gun in quotations typically want severe gun control. They typically want something that is going to restrict the ability of people to defend themselves. And it is not about politics, it is about survival. We have a violence problem in the United States. It's been steadily dropping since the 1980s, but it's still a problem, and it affects people every single day. And taking away someone's ability to defend themselves is a mistake. There are thousands of people every single year that are killed by implements that aren't firearms at all. Bare hands, tools, axes, knives, everything. Firearms are a great equalizer. They are used to protect the 2.5 million in the 90s and God knows how many today, now that firearm ownership is even higher than it was before. So before you think about jumping onto the bandwagon of believing that the good guy with a gun phrase is a myth, take a look at these statistics. I encourage you to do your own homework.